Welcome to Cal Builds. Today I'm going to show you how to swap a toilet. I didn't think of making this video until I already took the old toilet out. So, step one, your shutoff valve here on the toilet should be on the left side of the toilet. There will be a valve with a little flex hose that screws onto your toilet. What you want to do is turn this valve to the right, righty-tighty, shut off your water valve, and then this part will be connected to your toilet. And then flush your main tank so that it's empty. Then you can use a plunger to push the rest of that water that's in the bowl down into the drain so that your toilet is empty so that you can remove it. Then you can unscrew your valve from the toilet. I have a bucket under here, which I do every time just in case the valve leaks, which in this case, this one does a tiny bit. So we'll probably have to replace that. So on each side down here on the bottom, there's going to be these little caps. These caps just pop right off. You can use a screwdriver is the best way, a flathead screwdriver. Just get under there, pop it right up. And then there's going to be a bolt here, and then there's one on the other side that bolts the toilet to the floor. So you can take those bolts off. Then you'll just have two bolts down here that will have been from the old toilet. They just sit in these slots. So remove those screws. You'll also have a bunch of wax residue around your drain that I also did. And I like to clean it up, I like to just use a putty knife and just scrape up all the extra bits, make it nice and clean for our new wax ring. So your new toilet should come with a new wax ring and new parts for the tank. We're going to start with the wax ring here because that's our next step. Your wax ring should have come with new bolts for the base of the toilet. Take your new bolt out of the package. Put it back down into the base where you took the old bolts out. Give it a 90-degree spin and slide it back. The way these bolts are designed and made, they're not a round head here. They've got this two flat sides. So the flat side goes into that groove. Then you can turn it to 90 degree and slide it around where you need to fit the new toilet. So they're grooved like that, so see, it can't come out of this bracket now. So your new wax ring will come wrapped, which, you know, is a good thing because it's wax and it's disgusting. So now's the fun part where things get kind of icky. Unwrap your wax ring. Probably don't have to show all this on video, but I am. I would recommend to wear gloves, but I've done this a couple times and I like to think I can do it clean enough. Now with your new wax ring out of the packaging, stick it over the drain of your toilet just so that you're able to set your toilet in right, and then just kind of push it in against the toilet so it kind of sticks to it for a second. And then you can set your new toilet in place. I like to do it before the tank is on because it can get too heavy otherwise. So just kind of lift her up. Line it up with your bolts. Find the hole. I don't know if I'm in it. Yep, looks like it's in. And then what you want to do, you can back up. Then what you do is just kind of sit on it, give it a little wiggle, use your body weight to smush the wax ring out and even it. Get your rags out of the way. So this will smush your wax ring out and make it even over the drain before you clamp your bolts down and before you get the tank on. So get it the way you want and just kind of squish it down. Now you can put the nuts on the base and secure it to the floor. So your new toilet should come with instructions. If it doesn't, that's a problem. But it should come with instructions. We just put the wax ring on the toilet and just smushed it down Apply weight evenly. Do not move after placement. Watertight. Seal may break. So we're on this step now, putting the bolts on. Plastic washer. That was already on there because we're replacing from an old toilet. This is not a new installation. So we got our bolts in there. Of course, you have to put those in before you set the toilet down. Then it's got a little diagram here. Plastic washers. Your new bolts will come with a plastic washer. That goes down first. See, it's grooved. It kind of like locks against the bolt against the base of the toilet. Then your metal washer goes on top of that. That plastic also acts as a little softener so you don't crack the porcelain, because that would be a problem if you cracked a brand new toilet. I'd be upset. And then your nut just goes on top of that. So I'll show you how to do that now. So your new toilets in this cool modern age should come with this multi-purpose tool. It's got a nut driver there and a little one on the end here like a wrench. That should fit your base bolts or nuts perfect. We'll use that in a second after I show you how to put these in. Just slide your plastic washer down. Ooh. As tight as you can get it to the base of your toilet. Slip your metal washer over it. And then your nut. For now, we're just going to leave them hand tight while I put the other side on. So another cool thing about this tool, being that it's plastic, you can't over tighten your steel nuts and ruin your toilet. I mean, you can, but you shouldn't, is the idea behind this. So just clamp these down. See how the bolt's still moving? That's how you know it is not tight. I mean, the whole bolt, see, it's wiggling there when I'm trying to get on the nut. Now, before you tighten down one side completely, do it on both sides so it clamps down evenly, because you don't want your toilet sitting like this while you're on it. That'd be weird. So your new tank should come with all the parts to set it up. These are the bolts that connects the tank to the toilet, to the bowl. These are the caps for the nuts that bolt the toilet to the floor. This is your little rubber washer that goes between the tank and the bowl. This is your flushing mechanism in this toilet, because this is one of these new push button flush. And it also comes with its own tool in this bag for the tank. So the base of your toilet tank, you want to take your rubber washer that comes with the new toilet and just kind of maneuver it over this this hole here, which is how your water gets fed into your bowl, your toilet bowl. If you saw the bottom of this is kind of notched to go over this this clamp. The bottom of this has this little cutout, so it goes over this screw, which should already be in there from the factory out of the box. You shouldn't have to mess with that. So just get your rubber washer on there. This right here is your water inlet line. That'll be the last step. So then you just set your tank, of course, the tapered washer into the tapered hole in the back. Try not to bang it around too much. And then you can put the bolts in that I forgot to grab. Okay, so in your instruction sheet of paper, whatever, it says right here where to, this step actually, rubber washer goes inside the tank. So these new bolts that come with the tank will have a rubber washer on them, as well as a steel washer and a nut. The rubber washer will go inside the tank because it'll seal the water from leaking out of the tank, and also, clamp down against the tank. So make sure your rubber washer is up top with the bolt on the tank side. Slip that into the hole. I need the other one. And then you can see these bolts have a flathead top on them. So you'll have to hold that with a flathead screwdriver while you tighten down these nuts on the bottom with the handy dandy tool that it came with. Rubber washer inside the tank. You shouldn't be able to do that wrong. There's only 2 holes in here. Well, there should be only 2 holes in there. And then underneath, find your bolt, stick your washer and your nut on there. On both sides, it's the same thing. And then clamp those down with the handy dandy tool that it gave you. Okay, now for the fun part. We get to reconnect our water line to the toilet. So right under here on your tank is where the water inlet line comes in. So your new tank is going to come with this plastic nut and this little washer thing already installed for them. That's just for shipping purposes so it doesn't get damaged in shipping. So you can set those aside, grab your water line, stick it in there, righty tighty, right? And your water line just needs to be hand tight. Yes, mine leaks because the valve is bad. So unfortunately, while I'm filming this, it's 10 p.m. at night and the hardware store is not open. So I'll have to go get a new valve and line in the morning. So learn from my mistakes. Do this during the daytime so you can go to the hardware store and get parts to finish it. I have wiped everything down with a paper towel because mine was leaking. So now we can turn the water back on. And you can see the tank filling up. And there's water coming into our bowl now. That's just dirt from me moving around. That's not waste yet. Wait for your tank to fill up and then you can check for leaks. Okay, now our tank is full. Now we can go down here and check with your, you can just check with your hands if the fitting on the new tank is leaking. I mean, you can tell if there's water on it or not. It appears dry here. We'll check it in a couple hours, make sure it's still dry. Now, let's just give her a flush. Now this is the push button flush, so I think this one is for half load. Now we're testing, make sure everything works. So we'll wait for our tank to fill up again. The bowl now has water in it. Make sure our tank fills up properly. Okay, and the float worked. Double check to make sure it's still dry. And we're good to go. Now you wanna check, make sure your tank is dry against the base of the toilet as well. And then of course, after you flush it, you want to make sure that it's dry around the base and that no water's leaking out through there. If you installed your wax ring right, it should be dry. Now let's do the full flush, which is the right side in this model. That drains the entire tank. So now let's wait for the tank to refill and check again. Okay, now our tank is filled up. The bowl is filled up again. Double check for leaks here. Still dry on our fitting where it comes into the tank. Still seems dry around the bowl. And it still seems dry around the bottom. So, our new toilet does not leak. So your new lid to your new tank and your new toilet will come with the new, this is a push button flush, this model. So it's got a full flush on the right side and a half flush on the left side. And your new plungers here comes with this little plastic nut on the bottom of it. So you want to take that off. Kind of hard to do while I'm holding the lid. Take that nut off. Put your plungers, your flush buttons into the tank. Take your plastic washer and put it back on the underside of it, inside of the lid. Do it a little better than I do. Now here's the fun part. Make sure that your plungers, your flush buttons, line up correctly. And on the instructions manual, right here, in this little tiny piece in the corner, it says half flush push button A, full flush push button B. So your half flush should be on the left side and your full flush should be on the right side. So you can see inside the tank there's the blue and white spots. Half flush, full flush. These should line up with it. Now after you get your lid on, you can test half flush. Look at that, it did a half flush. We'll wait for the tank to refill and then test the full flush. So now that our half flush has been flushed and a tank's refilled, let's try the full flush. Okay, it's flushing. Make sure our tank fills back up. And you can see it on the top of your instructions manual for installation instructions for 2-piece. 1.06 gallons is what the half does, and 1.6 gallon for the full flush. High efficiency toilet, because you can do that little half flush and not waste so much water. Way more efficient than the older toilets are like a 3 gallon per flush. Only one flush, of course, you don't get to choose the size. So now on to the toilet seat. Your new toilet seat will come with all these things listed here. Rubber washer, plastic bolt, adjusting shim, rubber stopper, plastic gasket, screw nut. So I'll show you how to put the seat on now. So on the right hand side here, there's this diagram. Hinge cover, that's these little white button looking things to make it look nice and clean, because you don't want to look at this all day, or you don't want guests to look at this. Anyway, so the bolt goes down there with this adjusting shim, they call it, up top, towards the top of the bolt. Bolt goes through, then you put your rubber washer on, then you put your plastic washer on, and then you put the nut on to the seat. Bolt go through there, bolt go through hole on toilet, rubber washer on the bottom. Then your plastic washer. Then your nut. So the adjusting shim on this is actually quite neat. So check this out, guys. This is how your adjusting shim works. It's like a screw. So you can twist your screw which way and it'll like move the toilet seat where you want it to be. Kind of hard to see on camera, but that adjusting shim is pretty nice for setting your seat to where you want it to be. Sorry guys, I skipped a step. I forgot to tell you about these rubber these little rubber pieces to go under the seat against your porcelain so it doesn't scratch it or crack it or anything, which, I mean, it shouldn't anyway because it's plastic bolts, but I forgot to tell you about put these little rubber things in between your seat and the toilet base. And now we have a seat, so we'll put these little caps it came with right on. Boom. Boom. All right. There we go. And just like that, we have a toilet. All done. Thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, give it a like. Subscribe for more. Let me know in the comments what other videos you want to see. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.